Humans are weird. Let's work it out. Latest challenge. Seventh Trill looked across the empty space between himself and Second Sister. He was perched in front of the massive window that formed the south wall of the commander's office on this post. In the fading colors of the gloaming, the rolling grasslands outside stretched to the perimeter fence and then beyond it to the horizon. With the office, the interior lights were just starting to compensate for the fading natural light. The Shatar was standing there with her arms full of medical supplies and the pouches that hung from her utility harness bulging with sterile absorbent material. Seventh Trill slowly and deliberately placed his wing hooks on either side of his snout and cycled a deep sigh of air. "Let me get the wake in order," Seventh Trill said in what he hoped the medic took to be a firm tone. "You are taking the base, a quarter of the base's medical supplies, out into the middle of a field because the predator deterrent has expired." Second Sister curled an antenna in what he assumed was a gesture that meant something to someone who had lighted on Shatar kinesthetics for more than a moment. She seemed to realize the problem, however. "Yes," she explained, "I really should be getting out there now." The Shatar shifted her legs as if to turn and go, but Seventh Trill held up a wing hook to restrain her. "I seem to be missing critical information," he said, straining to keep his voice calm. "I do not see any connection at all between the predators and allowed for chemical degradation of the..." He glanced at the manifest in front of him. "The predicated and allowed for chemical degradation of the pepper spray and wasting, or rather using in a less than prescribed manner, let's say a large mass of the base medical supplies." He paused and waited for the Shatar to respond. Her neck frill had stiffened and flared green with anger for a moment before shifting to the fluttering of general curiosity. Her head slowly rotated from side to side, threatening to dislodge the topmost of the medical supplies in her arms. "What exactly," she finally asked, "do you think I am going to do with these medical supplies?" "I am sure as a rising thermal that I have not the faintest breeze of an idea," he stated. "I am reasonably certain that you do not intend to retrofit them into a ranged chemical predator deterrence, but that is the only implication I could lift from your explanation." For a long moment, the Shatar focused on him, letting her many-faceted eyes rotate to really analyze him from every direction. Her mandibles worked quietly, and he got the distinct impression that she was wondering how someone of his intelligence had managed to learn to fly, let alone rise to the command rank in a deep space field outpost. Finally, she shook her antenna and frill and glanced at the wall-mounted chronometer. "Yes," she murmured, "that would explain how this happened. You haven't had any experience with humans, have you?" He bristled a little in affront. "I have not," he said, "though I fail to feel how that applies here." "The pepper spray is a human-use tool," she explained. "They developed it from an anti-herbivory chemical produced by various plants on their homeworld. The defense units that have just expired were engineered for the use of various species, but the humans still feel a proprietary interest in them." "That is interesting," Seventh Trill said cautiously. "They also have a range of culturally relevant activities that include these substances," Second Sister went on. "In addition, they have a scarcity-driven distaste for waste." Seventh Trill truly wondered where she was going with the spiral of information. He well knew that Shatar in general tended to be very literal and direct. It was one of the aggravating things about dealing with them. "While I have no direct evidence," she was going on, "I have gathered from the fact that all of the expired units are missing, with most of the base humans, that they have gone off in the fields for a related recreational activity." "Ah!" A dim light began to pierce the clouds for explanation, and he nodded slowly. "They're using the expired units for target practice. Commendable initiative." Second Sister's triangular head tilted to the side, and one antenna curled in what might have been amusement. "Target practice?" she repeated. "That is perhaps one of the more charitable ways of describing what I expect they have been doing, but only if you consider their faces to be the targets." The silence stretched between them as more and more of the artificial light took over. The unnatural light began to savor of something quite unpleasant as Seventh Trill caught up to her meaning. "What makes you think that the humans would be that?" He broke off. There really was no polite way to say stupid in any language. They haven't returned, and it's mealtime, she explained. Young, healthy mammals, even tanks like the humans, do not willingly skip meals. Their metabolisms punish them quickly for such slights. Therefore, something is keeping them out past the security fence. What do you suspect is delaying them? He asked. If I had to diagnose without direct evidence, I would say collective partial blindness and needing to feel their way home as a group, like a pod of ungulates, she explained in a calm tone. Why wouldn't they just call in? Seventh Trill demanded. Embarrassment, Second Sister stated calmly. Now, if you will excuse me, I am having a medical-grade eye solvent loaded onto the drip tank on the back of my hovercraft. That and these should be enough to provide first aid when I find the fools. She set out a foot and pivoted her body before trotting out of the office without another backwards glance. Seventh Trill watched her go and wondered how he was supposed to write this incident up in his reports. Humans are weird, let's work it out. Available on Indiegogo for the month of October 2022. Monty Python meets Star Trek in this third book of human absurdity. This book joins its two siblings in a trilogy of human madness. You can find the first two books, author-signed first editions, at Indiegogo with book 3, or you can go on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever books are available to get your copies of the first two books. Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, book 3 in the series, available on Indiegogo, October 2022.